Okay. Hi, Esther and Fifi. So we're going to start. This is very exciting that we get to have a very nice personal class. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to share this lovely presentation that I have for you. Okay. So what we're going to talk about all today, because these are the special SCA classes in honor of Rosh HaShana. So we're going to talk about the shofar, and more specifically, we're going to talk about the different sounds that the shofar makes and what kind of lesson we could learn from those sounds. So I called it, because I don't know, I was in a very alliteration mood with S's, the shock and safety of the shofar's sounds. So let's see how we move on. So first of all, just right off the bat, we're just going to say that the blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah is a huge idea. It is the main idea. It is what I call the focal point, right? That's the whole objective of Rosh Hashanah, is to hear the shofar. Fun fact, it is the only mitzvah that comes from the Torah on Rosh Hashanah. So I know that, like, as soon as we say Rosh Hashanah, everyone's like, dip the apple in the honey. But that's not a mitzvah, and it does not come from the Torah. The main idea is hearing the sounds of the shofar. Rosh Hashanah is also referred to in the Torah as Yom Teruah, that day of making that sound, that day of hearing the shofar itself. So we know that the shofar plays a huge role in the idea of Rosh Hashanah. Right, I'll read to you the mitzvah. It's from Sefer Vayikra. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe, and Hashem said, Daber el bnei Yisrael lemor b'chodesh hashvi'i, in the 7th month, that's Tishrei, where we are now, be'echad lachodesh, the first day, we will have a Shabbaton and what's called a Zichron Teruah. So this Teruah, the sound of the shofar, is the main idea of Rosh Hashanah. So that we know. But what we want to get into and delve a little deeper into today is, like I said, the sounds of the shofar and this weird extra character who finds her way into the shofar, and it's Sisra's mother. So both of you guys know who Sisra and Sisra's mother was. So I'll take it from you in just one second. But let's see. So what types of sounds does the shofar make? So we have two basic sounds. We have a tiki'ah, which is a long, unbroken sound, right? That two in this nice little picture that I showed you. And then we have a tiru'ah. So a tiru'ah is a broken sound, but our rabbis have a machloket as to the nature of this broken sound. Does it sound like a shevarim, meaning 3 broken sounds, 2, 2, 2? Or does it sound like what we normally know as a tiru'ah, which is those 9 shorter sounds, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that? So in order to cover all our bases, we do both. We blow shevarim, the 2, 2, 2, the 3. We blow a tiru'ah, the 9. And then we also blow what's called a shevarim tiru'ah, okay? But where do we have, a solution to what the tiru'ah sounds like? Anybody want to read the Gemara to us? Because it's just us two, so who cares? You could read it. No problem. Oh my God, Fifi, no? Hard pass.
Wait, where does it say it?
Okay, so you see where it says here in this English?
Yeah.
Okay, so could you read that? It says, Abaye said, or you know what? You could go down to where it says, and to define a yevava. Oh, sorry, I went backwards. See where it says, and to define a yevava?
In this matter, the Tanaim certainly disagree, although the first baraita can be reconciled with the Mishnah. The first baraita clearly reflects a dispute as
Go to and to define a yevava. And?
Okay. And to define a yevava, the Gemara quotes a verse that is written about the mother of Sisera. Through the window, she looks forth and wailed, Vayitchla, the mother of Sisera.
Vatayaviv, the mother of Sisera. Okay, keep going. Keep going. One sage. Hi, Marilyn.
One sage, the Tanach baraita holds that this means moaning broken sighs, as in the blasts of called shivarim, and one sage, the Tanach of the Mishnah, holds that it means whimpers, as in the short blasts called teruot.
Gorgeous. Okay, thank you so much, Fifi. I appreciate that. It was beautiful. So what Fifi basically read to us is she's explaining that the Gemara quotes this idea of Sisera's mother to figure out what the sounds of the shofar are. So the Gemara says, what is a tiru'ah? Okay, well, I'll tell you what it is. A tiru'ah is the cry that Sisra's mother cried when she saw that her son, Sisra, was not coming home from war against Bnei Israel. And one rabbi said, oh, it sounded like moaning, shevarim, 3 broken sounds. And another rabbi says, no, it sounded more like a wailing, those 9 shorter sounds. And therefore, we do both, to go by both of those rabbis. But our weirdo question is, where in the world did Sisra's mother come into this conversation of blowing the shofar? What does Sisra's mother have to do with these sounds and the shofar and Rosh HaShana? It seems very random to us. And in case you thought that I was, I don't know, joking or whatever, Sisra's mother comes in a second time when we hear about the number of blasts that we have to hear from the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. So how many blasts of the shofar do we hear total? We hear a total of 100 blasts of the shofar. And the Tosafot comments over here, 100, just like the number of cries Sisra's mother cried when she saw that her son wasn't coming home. So we see twice Sisra's mother, this figure who is not really very central to our understanding of Tanach, she comes in to our learning of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. So what's the deal? Why is she here? What is she coming to teach us? What's going on? So first of all, let's just take a little bit of a backtrack and let's understand who was Sisra and who was Sisra's mother. So who was Sisra? Going all the way back to Sefer Shoftim, which we learned together in 5th grade. Sisra was the very fearsome, very scary army general of the Kina'anim, okay? So when Bnei Israel were stuck in this cycle of Sefer Shoftim, of doing Avodah Zarah and God punishing them and them crying out to God for help, during the cycle, one of the fearsome, scary, horrifying enemies that God sent to Bnei Israel were the Kina'anim, and their army general was this man named Sisra. So it says in Sefer Shoftim, Perek Daled, Pesukim Aleph through Bet, Vayosifu Bnei Israel. Sorry, it did a weird thing where like all the Hebrew was like smushed together. Vayosifu Bnei Israel asod et hara be'einei Adonai ve'Ehud met. So after the previous Shofet, Ehud and Shamgar, now comes a new Shofet, Tet. Her name was Devorah. And who's the enemy? Vayimkerem Adonai beyad Yavin, the king of Canaan. And his Saratavao, his army general, was a guy named Sisra. And Sisra was a very fearsome general. I put a beautiful picture of Sisra being murdered in the corner over here because Sisra's murder is very famous. What happened? I still remember. Fifi, remember?
The girl that got the nail shoved in the head with the milk and the...
Yes.
He went to sleep. But he threw it down. No one liked it. It was the best story I ever heard.
Yes, it is a very, very incredible story. Also very big on female empowerment, so hooray. But the idea is, in that story, we had a woman named Yael, hoping that's ringing some bells, please. And she got Sisera into her tent under the pretenses that, oh, I'm on your side, and I'll help you, and I'll hide you from Bnei Israel. But of course, what she did was she lulled him to sleep, and then once Sisera was sleeping, she got the tent peg, and she got the mallet, and she jammed it into Sisera's head, and she killed him. It was a huge victory for Bnei Israel. So Yael was instrumental. So this is what Sisera is famous for. He's really famous in his death. Okay, so that's Sisera. Where does Sisera's mother come in? He's a grown man. He's an army general, very successful, has won a lot of battles for the Canaan. Sisera's mother comes in, as we all remember, after Bnei Israel won the battle. The Shofetet, Devorah at the time, right? Devorah and Barak, she wrote a beautiful song, a poem to express her thanks to Hashem, to Barak, to Bnei Israel, to Yael for helping Bnei Israel become victorious. And in Devorah's Shirah, in her song and her poem, she mentions Sisera's mother. And here's what she says. She says, Be'ad hachalon nishkefa. You see this like nice, beautiful picture of this woman gazing out the window. Sisera's mother, Devorah, paints a picture of Sisera's mother looking out the window. Bevaem Sisera, and she's waiting for her son Sisera to come home. And she turns around to her servants, right? Because we're assuming that Sisera was the famous army general, that his mother lived in luxury. And she turns to one of her maids and she says, Madua boshish rechvo lavo. Why is my son's chariot so late in coming home? Esther and Fifi, why is he late? Because he is
He did.
dead. He's dead.
Dead. He's dead.
Right, thank you. His head just got hammered with a tent peg. But the idea is that Devorah says that Sisera's mother is waiting. She's waiting, and she's like, when is he going to come home? Why is he coming late? And her ladies in waiting give her an answer, and they say, oh, you know why he's late? They tell her, you know what he's probably doing? After you win a battle in the war, if you're the winner in ancient times, you get all the stuff. You get everybody else's money. So the ladies tell Sisera's mother, you know what he's probably doing? You know why he's late? Because it's taking him such a long time to divide up all the money that he's winning from this victory. So the crazy thing is it never ever crosses Sisera's mother's mind or her servants' minds that Sisera could be dead. Of course he's not dead. He won. Sisera is the successful army general. There's no doubt about it. He will be victorious. Okay. So that's Sisera, that's his mom. What in the world does this have to do with Rosh HaShana, the Shofar, how we're supposed to feel? Like, are we supposed to be feeling bad for this woman that she lost her son because he's evil? She's our mortal enemy. Like, they come from the land of the Canaanim. She's hoping that Sisera is dividing up all our stuff. I'm supposed to feel bad for her? What's the deal? What's going on? Fifi or Esther, do you want to guess? No. Okay. Okay, so I read something very beautiful that comes from one of the leading thinkers in modern Jewish thought. I hope you've heard of him. His name is Rabbi Soloveitchik. He passed away very recently, in 1993, a year before I was born, fun fact. But Rabbi Soloveitchik gives us a beautiful perspective, and he says, no. Sisera's mother is not coming in here because we're supposed to feel bad for her. Sisera's mother is coming in here because it's showing us a very important lesson of how the shofar is supposed to make us feel. You know how Sisera's mother never had a doubt in her mind that Sisera was coming home? That was her reality. This is my reality. This is my world. I know one thing to be true. My son is going to come home. My son will be successful. He's part of the Canaanite nation. I know he's going to be good. He's going to come home. That was her world. She knew it to be true. So when he didn't come home, her wailing and her crying show that her reality was turned upside down. Whatever she thought to be true wasn't true anymore. And that's what the shofar is supposed to do for us. Remember, we called the class in the beginning the shock and the safety, which we'll get to, of the shofar. The shofar sound is supposed to remind us of Sisera's mother, because it's supposed to remind us that just like Sisera's mother's world was turned upside down, our world on Rosh Hashanah is also supposed to be turned upside down. What do I mean by that? Whatever we thought was working for us in this past year, we have to turn around and say, it's not working. What I thought to be true, oh, I was being a great person towards my parents, or I was really praying with beautiful kavanah, or I was, doing this beautifully. It's not true. The shofar is supposed to shock us. It's supposed to remind us of Sisera's mother's feeling of, I know I thought I was one thing, and I thought that, my habits were beautiful, and I was a great person, and whatever. I have to switch my reality. I have to change something. Something is different. My world is turned upside down. Rabbi Soloveitchik gives a very beautiful story to illustrate the point. It's a little sad. It's a lot sad, but it's definitely a good story to illustrate his meaning. He says, what does he mean by that, right? The idea that like your world is turned upside down. So Rabbi Soloveitchik, his wife had passed away. This was in, I think, the late 60s, 1960s. His wife had passed away a month earlier. So he was like still fresh in the mourning stage. And one night he was sleeping, and he left the windows open. And all of a sudden he woke up and he was like, oh, I have to close the window because my wife, who's sleeping next to me, she's sick. I don't want her to, God forbid, get sicker, get pneumonia, catch an infection. And he ran up to close the window. Then all of a sudden he remembered. He was like, wait, my wife passed away a month ago. And he says that the hardest part of losing her was that shock, that like, wait, my world used to be one way. I used to know that, okay, this was my life and my wife sleeps next to me and here we are and this is our life together. And then all of a sudden, it was the opposite. It flipped. So Rabbi Soloveitchik says, that's what Sisera's mother was feeling. Of course, my son's going to come home. I know that to be true. And then all of a sudden, shock, he didn't come home. And we're supposed to feel the same thing. My year's going great. I'm doing a great job. I'm a great person. I'm doing my thing. Bam, you hear that shofar and you're supposed to be like, oh, no. Oh my God. I was wrong. Something was wrong about this. I have to turn around. I have to change it. There's a new reality that has to come. Does this make sense? Questions, comments? Sisera's mother? No. It's just like thumbs up. Okay, great. Hair looks great. Love it. Okay. So that should make us, definitely that's the shock side. That's the harsher sound of the shofar. But we also have a beautiful side too, a more comforting side. And Fifi doesn't know this yet, but Esther does. So I'm gonna need your help, Esther. She's like, oh no.
Okay, you want me to read it?
Yes. Hold on. Before you read it,
Okay.
Esther, I just want to introduce it to Fifi and to all of us.
She's my cousin, but
no, I don't want to introduce you to Fifi. I
to the thing.
I know you know each other. Don't worry about it. I have the whole family history down. No. The idea here is that the sounds of the shofar also relate to something called the chatzotzerot. Esther, do you remember what the chatzotzerot are?
Okay.
Can you
No.
read it? Yes, you do. What are they
Yeah.
blowing?
Oh, the shofar. Oh, the horn thing. The shofar. I don't know. Yeah.
They're blowing the
The-
trumpets, silver trumpets. You remember?
Oh
when
yeah,
Hashem-
I remember now. I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, go ahead and read it
Okay.
first. What do you say?
The Lord spoke to Moshe, saying, "Asalech shetechassos seret kesef
Miksha.
mikshat taseh haotam."
Esther, beautiful reading. I'm so impressed with you. And also with no spaces. Wow. Hooray, faster. So the idea of the shofar also comes to us with the chatzotzerah. So Fifi, you're going to learn this year because you're in 7th grade. Oh my goodness, you're giant. Okay. Yes. So in Sefer B'Midbar, so Bnei Israel are in the desert. God comes down to Moshe and Hashem tells Moshe, listen, I want you to build 2 silver trumpets, like in this lovely photo over here on the side. And the Kohanim, Elazar and Itamar, Aaron's 2 sons, are going to blow these trumpets. And the sounds of these trumpets also are where we get the sounds of the shofar. You have a tekiah and a teruah. So what was the point of these trumpets? When do we blow them? What do they do? Blah, blah, whatever. Esther, can you read the chart for us? So when do you blow them? In red. Go ahead. When you are?
Traveling.
Okay, good. And when you are in?
Wartime.
Good. When
and
else?
Gathering Bnei Israel and the elders and the holidays.
Very good. So you're going to use these trumpets often. So God tells Moshe, the Kohanim are going to blow these trumpets during 4 separate occasions. Number 1, when we want to travel. So remember, Bnei Israel are in the desert at this time. So when Hashem wants everybody to get up and move, we're going to blow the trumpets. And it's going to say, okay, everybody, we're traveling, we're moving around. A second time, when an enemy is coming and we want to get mobilized for war, we want to get our troops ready to go, wartime, enemy's coming, blow the trumpets. A third time, when you want to gather everybody together, let's say Hashem wants to tell Bnei Israel an important message, or Hashem wants to tell just the Zikanim something important, blow the trumpets. And then the 4th and last time we blow the trumpets is on the holidays, right? To celebrate something beautiful, you want to hear some nice music, you blow the trumpets also. But I color-coded this nice handy-dandy chart because you say 2 different sounds at these 2 different times. So when you're traveling and going to war, it's a tiruah, the broken one, or tu. But when you're coming together or celebrating a holiday, it's the long, unbroken one, tu, like that. So what do you think? Would you say that the tiruah is more positive or negative? Is traveling in wartime happy, or is gathering Bnei Israel on the holidays more happy? Which sound would you say is the happier sound? Would you rather be traveling in a wartime?
Big one.
Gathering.
Oh, the. I don't know. Wait, what do you say?
Would you rather be traveling in wartime, or would you rather be gathering the elders on a holiday?
Gathering the elders.
Yeah. So just like we said, right? Remember we said with Sisera's mother, the tiru'ah, that broken sound reminds us of the shock, right? You're doing something new. Your reality is changing. That fits in with traveling. No one knows better than me, when you move somewhere or when you travel somewhere far away, it's a very big upset. You're changing. Things are different. Things are happening. What's going on? It's chaos. You're flipping over. And during a wartime, the same thing is true. If you knew peace and quiet and calm, all of a sudden the wartime is mixing you up. So that's the tiru'ah. The tiru'ah represents that shock of something new, a new reality, a new something. But the tiki'ah, that long, unbroken sound, represents safety, comfort, gathering Bnei Israel together, celebrating a holiday. It's a more happy, more uplifting, it's a more comforting sound. So I wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you, I didn't want you to leave just thinking, oh my God, the shofar is only supposed to tell me I'm a bad person and I'm terrible and I have to change my reality. Because that's not true. That's only one side of the shofar. That's the tiru'ah side, the broken side of the shofar. But the shofar makes another sound, that long tiki'ah sound. And that long tiki'ah sound is supposed to comfort us. It's supposed to show us it's like the holidays, it's like coming together. It's that long, unbroken sound of, I'm here for you, people are here for you, we're celebrating. There's also a good side to this. And a beautiful idea that I put on the bottom in these little stars, we never ever blow the shofar with just a tiru'ah. We never have just the broken sound. You'll hear it if you're able to go to shul. I hope you are, because Corona, I don't know. But we'll never ever have just the broken sound. When you go to shul, you always have a tiki'ah, the long, nice one first, then the broken sound, either two, or or both. And then after, you also have to have another tiki'ah, another long, unbroken sound. What's the message? You're never alone. Yes, the shofar can signal something scary. It can signal that your world is turning upside down, that what you thought to be true is not true, that what you thought was working is not working. Yes, the shofar does mean that. But the shofar also means that Hashem is going to help us make this change. Hashem is there before the change, right? Because the tiki'ah comes before the broken tiru'ah. And Hashem is also there after the change. We will always be surrounded by Hashem's support when we choose to change for the better. So I wanted to show that to you in conclusion. So Fifi, do you want to read the conclusion, the first bullet point on Rosh Hashanah?
Sure. On Rosh Hashanah, we never have a teruah alone. It is always preceded, and succeeded by tiki'ah.
Good, right? So it's never just a There's always a tiki'ah before and a tiki'ah after. Esther, keep reading.
Changing our reality is the core, but we must never forget we have Hashem as our buffer and guide on all sides.
Right? So we always have the comfort and the safety of Hashem to help us go through this transition and make that change before and after. So my Rosh Hashanah message to you, Fifi and Esther, is that you are inspired to change this Rosh Hashanah, that you're also comforted, that you understand that Hashem is there for you every step of the way, before, after. And I hope you have an easy and meaningful Rosh Hashanah, beautiful fast, a wonderful Sukkah. And even though I can't see you in person, so thank you for coming. Yay!
I made you a heart and a smiley face.
Thank you. And symbols. Thank you.
You want to see what I got today?
Sure.
It came.
What came?
I got a Hogwarts Lego set.
Oh my God! I have one of those.
$400.
I was just going to say they're very expensive.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Just holding it.
Wait, $400 for a Lego?
It's $400. Legos are expensive, okay?
And especially that one, it's gigantic.
I know, it's so big. I love it.
You're so lucky. Enjoy it. Build it and send us pictures.
How small
Everyone,
So,
are you moving back?
Recital.
What? Yeah, I don't know how to
What?
dance.
Enjoy the recital.
And also,
It's
my
okay.
hair's gonna
Seriously?
fall out of the thingy
You're
here.
fine. No, you're fine. You look great. Thank you, guys. Happy holidays. Speak to
Look,
you
this is my costume.
I miss you.
Miss you more. Bye.
This is my costume.
Beautiful,
Oh my
Esther.
God.
Totally.
Love it.
Mag.
I love it. It's like a
Goodbye.
necklace, but it's not a necklace. Bye. Love you. See you.
Bye.
Hopefully.